Are you told away even about your guy? Are you told away even about your guy? Are you told away even about your guy? Are you told away even about your Are you told away even about your guy? Are you told away even about your guy? Are you told away even about your
your day of days like Ricciardo grabbing podiums in 2020. It's not going to happen.
We used to be solid, not falling apart. Things never not okay when you were mine. You used to be honest, not pulling my heartstrings. Every other day you change your mind. Cause when you're high, you call me like I'm lonely. Some kind of little toy for you to wind up when you land in bed and feeling lonely. I'm tired of being deployed like that. Getting busier and busier, so disorientated. First you want me, then you're busy. Girl, it's not that complicated. Got me tied up in a leash and running, round, round. You got me running in a circle. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. What happened to us? I'm in a circle. Back where I started, I'm stuck here like glue. You keep me on a loop. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. What happened to us? I'm in a circle. Back where I started, I'm stuck here like glue. You keep me on loop. I used to respect you, thought I was enough. Yeah, it feels like half a century ago. Guess you keep coming back after telling me off, without even feeling sorry between goodbye and hello again. Thought we could grow again, how about no again, again and again. I'm trying to tell you we can't be friends, struggling to comprehend that we broke up and ended again and again and again. And I'm getting busier and busier, so disorientated. First you want me, then you're got me running in a circle. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. What happened to us? I'm in a circle. Back where I started, I'm stuck here like glue. You keep me on a loop. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. What happened to us? I'm in a circle. Back where I started, I'm stuck here like glue. You keep me on loop. Yeah, when you're high, you call me like I'm lonely. Some kind of little toy for you to wind up when you're lying in bed and feeling lonely. I'm tired of being deployed like all I am to use a pet. You think you own me? I'm nothing but a boy for you to wind up when you wanna pretend to get to know me. You got me running in a circle. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. What happened to us? I'm in a circle. Back where I started, I'm stuck here like glue. You keep me on a loop. I'm just trying to find my way back to you. What happened to us? I'm in a circle. Back where I started, I'm stuck here like glue. You keep me on loop. Got me running in a circle.
Welcome everybody to IndyCar here on iRacing. It's the Apollo Racing Club IndyCar Series live for our round from Spa. We had a break last week from Pocono the week before, and now we go to one of our longest tracks on the schedule, the 7-kilometer beast in the European Highlands, Belgium. And we are here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Keegan Scott bringing you the action, as well as James and Adam here in the booth with me. How are you guys doing? How'd you guys like your break week?
You know, break week was nice. Been busy as well around my personal life, so it's nice just to have that 1 week off. But I'm great. I'm glad to be back, especially here for one of the fastest tracks that we're going to see this season.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Break week was a nice little refresher, especially after what happened at Pocono. But now we go to another road course, and we'll see what happens with the title challenges and if Colin can actually have a clean race for once. He's still my favourite for today.
Colin is my favorite. And yeah, by the way, glad you guys enjoyed your break week. I was suffering with COVID through my break week, so.
That is unfortunate, Keegan. Are you feeling better at least?
Oh, my throat still kind of hurts, but it's not too bad. I'll say that much.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. I've had it twice now, so.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. It happens, but it's Spa-Francorchamps, again, one of the longest and fastest tracks, road courses I think we're going to visit this season. Of course, Brock Whiteman already out there on qualifying coming down the Kemmel Straight, as well as I think, what else did I see? It looks like Austin Armstrong as well is out there. I thought he came out second.
Yeah,
so
there he is. Looks like basically everybody is just getting ready to get out and get a couple laps in, get that banker lap in, while everybody else tries to make their way up there. A little bit of confusion coming out of the pits there, too. Spa is certainly interesting with the pit lane exit.
Well, last time at Pocono, it was kind of a interesting race, so some guys picking up some points in the standings. Andrew Surwick still leads the current championship in first place, and second with 123 points. Brandon Welsh, who, looking at the lineup, he is not here tonight, so he will lose some points there. So, but Brody Garner in third with 122 points. So the gap is starting to close up there. So Andrew Surwick's gonna have to have a decent race tonight if he wants to maintain his championship lead.
Yeah, and especially when you consider the fact that, Brandon still has those drop weeks to use. So this is going to be one of his drop weeks. Brody's going to have another one in his pocket. Andrew's going to have another one in his pocket. But Andrew's not out of the contention for tonight. Sure, he's not usually the best on road courses, but according to him, this is his best road course, followed by Watkins Glen as his second best. So he's not out of the running for tonight.
Well, I will have to mention here, last season's winner, Charles Bertram, is here tonight. He's very good on road courses most of the time, very consistent. And Joseph Dupont is also here. So the Roadmaster himself has made a trip here with us to Spa. And he's somebody who could definitely win this. He hasn't won this event yet at all in any of the seasons that he's raced. And I think he's raced almost every season. So he's somebody to watch out for. Last season he crashed out, if my memory serves me right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Go ahead, James.
I say, yeah, unfortunately did crash out on lap one last year, but Brock Whiteman's looking like he's going to be setting the first lap. But another thing to note today is he's probably only going to get maybe two, 3 runs at this, with how long the lap time is and a 15-minute time limit.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to get that lap in early just to take the pressure off you. Brock's taking a very conservative line through Pouillon as he heads down into Campus now. This is very much a throw it in to the corner and try and use as much of the exit here if he wants to. And he's using all the exit there. You have to get over to the left as fast as possible. And again, using as much of the curb as you can on the out exit there, and that just carries the speed all the way up to the final straight up, launching on onto the chicane, which is always a bit of a clumsy exit, which is now it's just flat out until we get there.
All the way through Blanchimont, flat out still. So
Yeah, just imagine what happens on the bus stop here when we get rain on iRacing.
I don't even want to talk about rain on iRacing. I am a rain hater. Just keep the tracks dry. We don't need that element. Brock Whiteman, 156.7, so we're under the 2-minute mark. Frankie is it Chica? 155.8. Mark Feeney currently in third with a 158.325.
Yeah, it's a nice little bank of laps there, and I think 154 is probably what the top pole times are going to be in that range. But you know, you get that lap in early. Colin has spun.
Yeah, he spun coming out of the pits. I wonder if he maybe didn't get the correct setup or something. But Colin is one of the ones that we have to look out for taking the pole and being up front today. I'm personally expecting it to be a battle between Colin and Joseph throughout this entire race.
Brandon Welsh is putting a time second, so I guess he has turned up. Coming late.
Oh, he is. As long as you get in before qual finishes, you can still race.
Looking with Chip Michaels now coming into the bus stop. He's on a lap for sure. Yes, he is. So he's going to cross the line. Where is this going to come out for him? He must have invalidated somewhere.
Yeah, he did.
Shame. I mean, again with the exit of the bus stop, you really need to use as much of the curb on the right and then just straight line it to the line. A lot of people aren't really doing that at the moment. I mean, Chips, even though it was an invalidated lap, was very tight there, and you just need to minimise the wheel spin and aim for that curb, but not too far, otherwise you do invalidate your lap. So it's a fine balance, but you can lose a lot of time in that final exit. It's so clumsy to get through. Frankie's gone back to the top of the timesheets now with a 155.8. Alex Rose is putting time second, but he's half a second down. So we're still waiting for the heavy hitters to put a lap in at the moment. It's getting late into the session already. Like I said this morning, you haven't got a lot of chances. You really need to get a lap in early. So watch Jack Hedgecock now head down towards the comb. See how he throws it in there. It's a lovely line.
You just got to be full on nut up going into that corner. There can be no hesitation, and you must take that basically as fast as you're daring to go. This car will keep you on the ground and pretty steady so long as you trust it. Now, obviously, it's no W12, but
you need to trust that downforce and just throw it into a lot of these corners.
That corner is probably the single one where you can either make or break your entire lap, and Jack just invalidated his lap. I thought he went off track there, and he did.
It's unfortunate. I mean, you can have another go at it, but Andrew Serwick, is he on a lap now? Still hasn't set one here 7 minutes into the session, so we're at the halfway point and only 10 times on the board. And a lot of our faster guys have yet to put anything up, so, you know, time's running out. They need to get a lap in.
It is Spa, so it's pretty easy to invalidate your lap in a couple of these places where people ordinarily might not have in a real-world session. But as we've already seen a couple times, just people getting invalidated, getting bit by a couple of these really awkward positioned corners.
Yeah, it's just like you say, it's easy to invalidate, but you really need to commit and ride the very edge of the invalidation to really get the lap times there. So many corners you just ring it.
Andrew almost loses it.
Yeah, that was very, very close.
Yeah, those corners you do really need to throw it in. You need to commit, but he committed a bit too hard, got a bit too much on the curb, got a bit of the grass, and that's ruined this lap. But you can try and go again. It might have not actually invalidated though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say if he didn't invalidate it, it's probably worth just putting this lap in to get the banker lap down.
Yep. Brody Gardner's now gone top. Yep, 4 tenths ahead of Frankie, so he's putting himself in a good position there.
Brody Gardner's definitely somebody to also keep an eye out for. I think he could definitely be challenging for the win here, as Andrew Surwick now crosses the line and goes 7th fastest with a 156.9. So a few milliseconds in front of Adam Martin, but definitely has some time in that car to find, especially after that moment he had. So RJ Conley is out there. He is on a lap. He has not put up a valid time yet. Has 2 green sectors here, so
RJ Conley has never been the most speedy, but has always been pretty consistent and just stuck up there in the top 5, top 10 pretty much every single race. So expect RJ to probably not put up the fastest time here. Might see a top 10 time, probably more likely going to round out somewhere in the top 12. But expect RJ to be a factor in the race late.
He's consistent. He stays safe. He's not in crashes or anything. He avoids them. And a lot of the times, that's what we see some races come down to, is just being consistent and being safe, as he goes 13th with a 157.26, falling down to 14th as Jack Hedgecock puts up P2, a 155.6. And that is a very good lap because he's only 0.2 off of Brody Gardner now. Something to mention here, Joseph DuPont still hasn't come out of the pits. Actually, is he even here?
He might be AFK, but he still has time to put in an outlap and get back around to start one. So, I mean, as long as he has that, he's perfectly fine.
Got Eric over here. He's got Andrew right behind him as well. But Colin's on a lap.
There we go.
He's
this
not.
is the one we need to watch. He's on the outlap, I think.
Yep, he's just now coming into the bus stop, so he is gonna go for it here.
The luck of that traffic in front of him.
Oh, that could help him definitely down the Kemmel straight.
Oh, nope.
He's pulled off, so got a free run now. So Colin's on his lap. He needs to get something in. He's running out of time here. Only 5 minutes left in the session. It's just all pure straight line speed now. There's nothing you can really do at this stage. You just got to keep your scrub as minimal speed as possible through Radio and New Rouge. You head down to Lacombe.
This isn't his last opportunity, but he's not gonna have many more after this. He'll get one more opportunity after this, given how much time we have. But he should still probably put in a good lap here. And I mean, with how fast Colin is, his banker lap could probably put him on pole.
Well,
exactly,
looking
yeah,
at it
just want
here.
to get that banker lap. Sorry.
Well, look, Sector 1 right now, not fastest. He does have an improvement. He's green, but not purple here. So here he comes. I always get these mixed up. This is Puan, if I remember right. Should have a track map out.
It is Puan, yeah. He's been lucky with the traffic getting
Oh,
out of his way.
no. That might have actually affected him, though, because he couldn't take the full exit there. So this is going to be a banker lap, and he's going to have to duck right into the pits and try and get back around in time. That might have invalidated it. That might have invalidated it.
It did. He pulls off.
There it is.
Yeah, that's a tricky corner to get right. It's very easy to invalidate, but you need to commit to that curbing. It's so finicky. Brody on a better lap at the moment.
You can hear the scraping of the car over some of these curves, especially through Radeon. You can hear it in the stream, I know, and how this sounds like it.
I think we might be a couple seconds delayed here because Brody actually set the fastest lap before he even crossed the line.
Let me make sure here. What's going on?
Don't know, and I guess it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm on the live, so let's take a look here. Cody Barrett, P4. What a good lap from him, a 156.3.
The top three right now are just putting in absolutely blitzing times.
Sarwick, a 156.2. Moves up in the P4 now. So feeling out the car a little bit better now. He does not have time to run another lap, I don't think.
No, I think he won't reach the line, so he'll be pretty happy with that though. P4 maybe P5 if Colin gets a lap in. He's up there. He just need, like I said, you've got a few people here who just need to get a lap in. And time is definitely running out now. We're on to the final runs for a lot of these people.
Brandon Welsh, currently P2 in the championship. He is looking to gain some form of time through here. He has a green sector 3. iRacing considers this track to have 5 sectors, so I don't don't know why they don't use a 3-sector system. Is that just for timing reasons or something else? But Brandon Welsh has
Purple
crossed the
sector
line.
5. There we go. Improved to P4.
That's huge. Puts Andrew Sarowick in P5. Chip Michaels coming across the line now. Still 8th with a 156.5.
Is Colin on a lap at the moment?
No, he's not. Eric coming across the line now.
I find it hard to believe that Colin would be willing to start from the back.
Yeah, but yeah, he's still in the pits.
That pole time by Brody Gardner is a stonking lap, though. That's a crazy lap around this place. 155.1, and almost half a second faster than Jack.
Mm-hmm. So he's feeling comfortable here in qualifying. It'll be interesting to see what he can do in the race, though. I mean, Jack Hedgecox has been somebody who's very consistent in definitely in race form. In the F1 21 game, he wouldn't have the best qualifying, but he would just run through the field, and he was very consistent. So
Scott Whiteman's got up to P6 with a 156.3, and Woody Mahan, who made his debut at Pocono, has gone up to P8 with a 156.4. So it's very close again in that midfield. But I'd say the only thing with Brody is, like, this is one of the places you don't want to be on pole, because Jack's going to have, in theory, going to have a great run down to Lacombe, and he could just get a pass at the start. So he's going to be interesting to start, see if Brody can maintain his lead. It's great. Bray snatches a break into the bus stop and spins out. So that's an unfortunate end to his session. He was possibly on an improvement there, but he's only going to start P14 by the looks of it.
Well, there we go, ladies.
We are
That's
done.
it. That is
Pretty
it.
close, if not everybody.
Oh, looks like
I was
it's only
about to
Brody
say
Gardner.
Colton Hurd is out on a lap, but no, that's Brody Gardner. He's running
Conley's-
he's running that Hurd setup.
RJ Conley crosses the line, 157.2. And Brody Gardner, does he improve that time? No, he does not. He had a purple sector 2, but did not improve throughout the lap. But Brody Gardner on pole, that's going to make this race very interesting now. Some very strong drivers, especially in the top 5 right now.
You know, our top 5 in points are all starting in the top 7 of this race. Serwick, Welch, Gardner, Barrett, and Hedgecox. All of them are up in the front of this field. It's going to be an absolute slugfest up there at the beginning of the race, especially considering our top 5 are only separated right now by less than 30 points, 28. So at the end of the day, if someone in front of you has even just a slightly bad day, you could end up taking 2-3 spots, or maybe even go from 5th to the lead.
This turn 1 is going to be very interesting to see how many guys are really going to push it hard through here. It's definitely going to be a race of patience. I mean, it's 30 laps, so some guys are probably going to get a little bit antsy here tonight. So we might see some spectacular crashes here.
Potentially. I mean, we also got Colin, Joseph, and possibly Charles all starting at the back. So we'll see how they get through the field in the early laps and see how if they can play into the race at the end. There's a lot of potential stories going on tonight in this week 5 of the Indy Apollo Racing Club.
Absolutely. Well, the lineup is set here, Keegan.
Yeah, Brody Gardner taking pole here from Spa. Jack Hedgecock's going to come up in P2. Frankie Francica is in third. Brandon J. Welch in fourth. And rounding out the top 5, Andrew Surwick, our current points leader.
In 6th place, Brock Whiteman. In 7th, Cody Barrett. In 8th place on the inside is going to be, on the outside, Woody Mahan. And then in 9th place, Alex Rose. In 10th place, Chip Michaels. In 11th, Peyton Schofield. And in 12th, Adam Martin.
Austin Armstrong, P13. Craig Bray, P14. RJ Conley starting P15. Look for RJ to be a bit of a factor later on in the race. DeAndre Young in P16. Ahmad in 17th. Eric Oliva in 18th. Mark Feeney in 19th. And Colin Kinzer rounds out our top 20.
Joseph Dupont started at the back in 21st with Mark Harrison next to him. And Charles Bertrand is actually our totally last place sitter. He actually did this strategy at Road America and he finished on the podium. So we'll see if he can do it again today. He's starting 23rd, and we should be going green very soon because I think we've only got the quick version of the pace lap on.
Yeah.
Yep, we're getting ready here.
Charles Bertrand is actually our current defending race winner here, too. He won last season. So expect him to be a factor no matter what. As for fuel runs here today, folks, we're looking at a 30-lap race, about 12 laps on a tank of fuel, so it's going to be a two-stopper. Naturally, tire rule is in effect. These drivers must use the primaries and the alternate tires at some point during the race, and we're probably expecting to see the primaries be the preferred tire, as the Reds have a huge amount of tire wear here.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of guys starting on the Reds I can see here. Actually, no, only our pole position. Brody Gardner, I thought I saw more red marked tires looking through the field, but looking at the actual screen, only Brody Gardner on those red tires. Kind of an interesting strat. I think I agree with that. Get this stint over with so you can go longer with those black tires.
Yeah, the only problem I always found with that strategy is you have to start on a fuel tank. And usually with the Reds, it's better to be able to just start it off on the lower tank. But anyway, going into the green flag now.
We are going green. Pace cars in. Brody Gardner takes off, and we are green here from Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Everybody's staying 2 by 2 going into the first corner here. Dropping down, Brody Gardner gets out in front of everybody. So far up through the front of the field, no one wrecking yet. Everybody's clean. Everybody's clean. Are we going to stay clean? Looks like we are for the moment. And yeah, everybody gets through turn 1 clean.
Now we're coming up to the first issue of the race where for Brody Gardner, can he hold off the Jack Hedgecock and Frankie? I mean, we're going to have 3 wide.
3 wide.
Who's going to be the last of the late breakers here? Someone's got to give.
Oh, Brody Gardner actually holds off on the inside. Had the
and there goes Frankie.
To keep his position. Oh my goodness, Frankie just spears it off, as is Jack Hedgecock. Did Brody Gardner avoid him? I think he might have touched him, but I can't see for sure.
That was very, very close. Brody Gardner able to hold on to the lead here. Let's take a look here at Frankie one more time through there.
The cold tires.
Cold tires. Also, Jack caught too much of the curb on the second part of the chicane, and he's slowing up. Basically, probably threw Frankie off, and he put too much lock in on cold tires. And then Jack unfortunately went off at the turn 9, so it's all action from the start. Brody Gardner maintained the lead though. Oh, jeez.
Got a bit of the sand on the exit.
Oh, look at this battle here in the back. We're going to
see our entire top 3 spin it.
Alex Rose in the 111 just absolutely being aggressive here, going off track. But here they come through Blanchimont, almost side by side. Oh, we got Chip Michaels off.
Another one.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. That was a big crash. Big crash. Wow.
And he was
could not hold it.
Anyone else.
It reminds me of F3 here just a couple weeks ago.
Brody Gardner to the lead. We have a lot of people who just crashed, so let's take a look back at Chip Michaels here and see what exactly happened. He's on the outside through Blanchimont and just bangs it into the wall, just loses. It looks like the rear end came loose. And, of course, Brandon Welsh Brandon Wells crashing as well. See what has happened to him.
And oh, did he make contact? Oh, oh, there we go.
So
Just got a little bit off and tried to jump back onto the racing line just a little bit too soon.
Got a little help there. So always tough the bus stop on lap 1. Cold tyres, hard braking zone, and the accordion effect is definitely strong in that corner.
Well, Brody Gardner leads by 2.2 seconds over Andrew Surwick now.
Yeah, Andrew will probably be quite happy with this. You know, it's one of his best tracks, but he again just gets solid road course finishes, and he knows he's the king of the ovals, so that's where he makes his dough.
Well, look at Joseph DuPont. He's already up into 10th place. Colin Kinzer's into 9th, and he's going for 8th place here. You can see Colin Kinzer now gets by RJ Conley right before Campos, and now you're just seeing him trying to run away because he has Joseph DuPont, who's right on the heels of RJ Conley.
Yeah, he's made a lot of progress early, and I think he's probably happy that a lot of the bigger, stiffer competition is already out, so he'll probably fancy his chances to at least get up to P3 by the end of the first stint of this race, and then who knows where he'll go from there.
He's going to look around the outside going into the chicane. Is he going to be able to clear RJ by the time he gets to that corner? Yes, he is. Joseph DuPont up into P9. RJ Conley falls back to the last spot in the top 10. Did I see someone spear off there? No.
No, he saved it at the lowest moment. I think that was...
Barely.
That was
Dion.
Yeah,
oh, no, it was DeAndre Young.
Yeah, DeAndre Young.
Oh, someone spun in turn 1. Who was that? Was that Woody?
That was Woody. Yep.
I'd say DeAndre Young got too much wheel spin out of the bus stop, and that's why he went off to the side and lost a lot of momentum.
Let's see what happens here to
Very
Woody.
easy to do.
Just comes into the corner, just loses it. A lot of guys are avoiding that dip down there, it seems like, in turn 1 on the inside.
Well, with how stiff the suspension is on these Indy cars, if you get a little bit of wheel hop on the front right, it's just going to send you spinning pretty quickly. So that might have been one of the factors that Woody experienced there. But it looked like he had already been losing it before he got there. So probably just a little bit overeager on the turn and didn't get enough brake down before he actually turned in. Colin Kinzer as well, as we're looking, marching his way through the field to P7 already, up 13 spots since the beginning of the race.
He is on a charge right now. He's in front of Joseph DuPont, who's also gained 13 positions. Somebody we haven't.
Speaking of Joseph,
Charles Bertram has DNF'd out of this race, so Charles Bertram will not be a threat here tonight. As Craig Bray defending this 6th position, takes the inside. They're going to be coming down to the backstretch here. Here they come through. Blanchimont, and Colin Kinzer does stay calm there. I was kind of nervous there that they were going to go side by side for a moment.
Craig Bray is actually defending beautifully here. Has managed to hold off Colin for an entire lap.
Yeah, I think these Colin's starting to reach the people who've given him a bit more fight. I think a few of the people early were being very generous with their defences, but now he's got a great chance of getting him down the Kemmel straight now, and hopefully, you know, getting another position. He's just gonna have to try and pick up a car a lap.
I can see this being an opportunity for Colin to use that push to pass, get past Craig Bray here, but he might want to save it for later on, but using it here would not be a bad time to use it, I'd say.
You may have to, especially because we're a bit of a train here, because think about Craig Bray was getting a good toe off of Adam Martin in front of him, so they're kind of holding station at the moment. It's hard, you need to use that push to pass. But he's noticed he hasn't actually used one yet. But he might have a chance here. Craig's made a bit of a mistake going a bit wide there, but very high risk move there. Colin
this is sketchy. This is sketchy. This is really sketchy. Yeah, Colin, good on you backing off for that one, recognizing that was going to be a very dangerous pass attempt up through that corner.
Oh, a little bit of a blocking move there by Craig Bray. You'd see him kind of move over to the right a little bit, probably spooking Colin Kinzer there. You could see him, he reacted quickly, but here they come again down through the back stretch, or you call this the back stretch? I would. Oh, and there goes somebody off.
Whoa!
That's Adam Martin.
That's Adam.
That is Adam Martin. Go.
Another one bites the dust.
Yes. Let's take a look at what happened to Adam Martin here. You know, looks like he gets a good run. Oh, he just dips the tire in the sand.
He bit the dust.
He actually bit the dust there. So, the poor man will be wondering what happened there. But
it's another one of those corners where if you get the line slightly wrong, you do get dragged out, and it goes wrong very quickly, as we found out for Adam there. So Colin's happy. He's got past Craig Bray in the meantime, so he's almost up into fourth already. Cody Barrett is next in line, but he's a second ahead. And then after that, it's gonna take a while for him to catch up to the front three, who've got about 5-second gap on the rest of the pack at the moment. I think we're getting to the point now also where Brady Gardner's advantage should start shrinking, because his tyres should be starting to feel the heat at this point.
I've actually been watching that gap over the last couple laps, and it's actually shrunk by about 0.3 of a second. Did Peyton and Andrew just switch positions?
Nope.
But
Peyton
had
Schofield's been
taken-
second.
Yeah, Peyton got pounded a while ago, and then it did switch again.
Yeah.
In crankiness, but
Funny enough, as they run, Brody Gardner would actually take over our points lead over Andrew Surowick, but that has yet to be seen until the end of the race. You know, we had touched on this earlier about push to pass up that Camel Straight. This is why I like push to pass so much better than DRS, is because DRS, you get it every single time. You have a DRS sector, and you're less than a second in front of you, right? Push to pass, you have to be smart on how you use those during the race. So it makes it so that you don't get these stupidly long push to pass trains, or DRS trains as they are in F1. And I feel as though, quite frankly, I'd love to see DRS go out in F1. What do you guys think?
yeah, I'd like to see it dropped. I think that's the idea with these cars they've got at the moment, but it just takes a while to get on. I mean, if you ever watch, I don't know how old you are, but if you watch the races in the late 90s, early 00s, it was terrible because no one could pass. So it's kind of like a necessary evil, unfortunately. But depending on the track, it's very, overpowered. Spa especially was overpowered at times until you get into the trains. There's been like other races where it's like it just makes the pass too trivial.
See, I like the Formula Renault series with the what is it, 3.5? It has a number of DRSs that you can use throughout the race. So it's a limited amount. I think that, it's the concept of push to pass, but you get the rear wing open for drag reduction. Because as we've seen this season, DRS is a very useful thing still. Like, look at Barcelona, which is one that probably used to be a pretty boring race. After this last race, I mean, it was pretty exciting seeing some of the passes, especially down the front straight of Barcelona. Same with Bahrain. So I'm actually interested to see what Abu Dhabi is actually going to be like with this new concept. So
here's the thing with DRS, right? Obviously, it's still super useful, but that's just the thing. It's too useful to have it available basically at all times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not going to be many times that you're not going to have it available, and if you have it available, you don't really want it because you're in the lead already.
Yeah.
So I feel as though with Formula Renault's system, where you only can open that flap a certain amount of times during the race, that's a really good way to execute it. Because obviously, you can't use a push-to-pass system with cars that aren't spec engines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't really say, oh, you can increase it by a certain amount of horsepower and up to that amount, and then be able to check that actively during the race. I mean, I guess you could with how good telemetry has gotten at this point, but it's still going to be really hard to police. So maybe if F1 were to make it so that you can only open up DRS every X amount of time, or like X amount of times per race, that would be a really good way to balance that out.
It would make, I think it would make the racing even closer, because now you have guys like actually trying to follow each other and not have to rely on that DRS. So having to be a late breaker to get the move done, and just, you know, not having to rely on DRS down a front straight or down a really fast circuit like Spa, especially with the Kemmel straight with the DRS. So it's, I don't know. I think it would be a good a good way of controlling it, balancing it. So, but
Yeah, because
hey,
if you just have access to it all the time, it just becomes another part of the car rather than something extra to use strategically. So that would be really cool to see. It would actually make the races turn into races, especially near the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think if they want to get rid of the system eventually, they probably do need to make it like you limit it, and then see how that goes, and then as the cars evolve in this current formula, if we get to the point, I mean, they do follow better than the previous spec, so that's good. But we'll have to see what the changes do next year with the changing the way the ground effects work to try and help with the porpoising problems. But yeah, if they can get rid of it, and if they can, I say limit it would be the best way, because like I say, that becomes a tactical element. I mean, obviously, like DRS is always going to be tactical because it's not a guaranteed thing. But if you can then like make it so like, well, you've got it, but do you want to use it now? Or do you want to save it for later? It'll be a good strategic element to add to the races, for sure.
Well,
It's
look
just
at Dion.
another thing for Ferrari to mess up. Oh, that's real wide in that turn one. He might get a slowdown. I think he did.
Yeah. No, he's still going here. He's flat out here.
no,
They're almost going to go
dude.
side by side here. They come through. Oh, Rouge, RJ Conley holds on to the position. Now he moves up into 7th. Now they come through Radeon down the backstretch into the Kemmel Straight. But look out, here comes Shady Ahmad. He's down there. He's trying to make this 3 wide.
Three
RJ
wide
Conley.
into Lacombe.
RJ Conley,
Okay.
he holds on to 7th place. He was able to stay ahead there of Shady Ahmad. That was absolutely intense there. We almost saw side by side with these cars through Eau Rouge and Radeon.
Yeah, Shady had so much momentum off the back of Radeon, but he had nowhere to go, and he just had to unfortunately back out. But he could have easily got 2 positions there if the cards had fell right. But this battle of 7th to 10th is sort of picking up people now. Mark Feeney and Woody Mayhan are getting onto the back of it. It's sort of like we've got two little groups going on at the moment. We've got the front group, and then we've got this midfield pack all tightly bunched.
Brandon Welsh has had another off here. Not a good night from him so far. Let's see what happened. Coming into the bus stop here.
He just does not like that corner, does he?
Nope, and he just drops it.
Yep, there it is.
So easy to do.
Done that plenty of times.
I think Peyton Schofield's caught up to the back of Brody Gardner.
I was going to say, I think Brody Gardner just lost the lead. Oh, yeah.
Pitted.
Yep, he's pitted. I'm surprised he didn't pit earlier. I would have pitted probably a lap or 2 ago. Get 7 laps on these tires and then send it in.
And this battle up in this midfield is still going on here, as we're seeing Woody Mayhan now. He's trying to get into this action here as RJ Conley. He's trying to pull off here, trying to pull away through turn number 1. They go, and now it looks like that's DeAndre Young on the inside there as Woody Mayhem and Shady Ahmad move up 1 position. Here they come down into Eau Rouge again. Not any side-by-side action happening now, as DeAndre Young he's lost a total of 3 positions in just the last lap.
Yeah, well, one thing to note out of all this, Brody Gardner has come out in front of this battle, which is another problem with him taking the reds against everyone on the blacks. Is that
Oh no!
Oh, DeAndre Young.
DeAndre Young.
I think he kept
Doesn't
out
hit the wall.
barriers.
Oh, yes, he did.
Just gotta be careful though. Traffic.
He beached?
Traffic. No, he's not beached. He
He's just waiting.
What is going on?
he looks over
Brandon
and
Welsh
sees
went
that
off
Brandon
the
Welsh
back.
goes off the. So he's like, all right, I'll get going here. um,
Uh,
all right.
you want the spot, mate? No. All right. You sure? All right.
They were both being very polite in who could crash the hardest there. But
Who is the most British?
well, yeah, we need a new honorary Brit since I'm not racing anymore. I'd say DeAndre Young was probably the most there because he let a lot of people pass. Very, very polite, very British.
Oh, yes.
Well, holding the door to a lot of people.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Very much.
So DeAndre Young with that spin falls down the 13th, so he's got a lot of work to do. Peyton Schofield's current race leader, not the net leader though. He'll have to pit at some point as we reach lap number 10. They've put 9 laps. It's weird to think we've only done 9 full laps on this track.
Spa is just so huge.
But look at this man right here. Colin Kinzer up 17 positions. He's got the gap right now. He has a 15-second gap to Brody Gardner. Again, a lot,
Joseph
really long.
DuPont is out. He's spun and DC'd.
Yep. I don't see anything.
Joseph's issue has always been that consistency. If he spins, he usually alt F4s before he's even come back around. Like even before he's gone 180 degrees. So it's just one of those things where he's really inconsistent, but he's so fast over the course of a single lap.
Yep.
He just pushes it a little bit too hard, especially early on in races.
And here's the thing: when he is consistent, he is incredibly fast throughout a full race. I mean, he's beaten the likes of David McCourt and Andrew Surowick several times on road circuits by quite a margin. Not it's not been it's come down to the final corner. It's usually him. He's out there by 15, 20 seconds. So when it's his day, it's good. But when it's not his day, he really has a tough time. So
yeah,
hopefully he comes back.
He actually won the first race I ever was in the booth with for this league at Circuit of the Americas in season 5. And he won by like 40 seconds. It was just an absurd amount of distance. And that's with 2 stops during the race. And he even had a single spin, if I remember correctly. But it was just... He is a insanely fast driver. And if he can keep it pointed the right direction, he's probably going to win the race. It's just keeping it pointed the right direction is the issue. By the way, did I see RJ Conley drop like 2 spots very quickly without pitting?
Let me take a look here. Oh, he is there by Mark Feeney now. Yeah, he dropped 2 positions. Yeah, because Craig Bray, Shady Ahmad has passed him.
And Woody Mahan. He's up to P8, and this is actually his first road course race with us, so he's only a solid drive so far. He had that one incident at turn 1, but he's up there. He's in the mix. Mark Feeney might be trying to get around RJ at the moment, but I think he's actually lost out to Jack Hedgecock and all that. Further back.
Woody's actually having a pretty good race here too, so good to see a fairly newcomer to the league doing well here at Spa.
Yeah. Well, I have word here that I see the RJ Conley crash replay now, so we'll go ahead and take a look and see what has happened to the man. He's already behind Woody at this point, coming through the bus stop, and just comes out of the corner too hot, almost slides into the barrier, but ends up keeping going. Mark Feeney has also had a crash. He's actually side by side with RJ. Here they come into the bus stops. Oh, boop! Just a little light tap on that front left. So
At least he didn't pull a Lewis Hamilton.
True. But luckily, it doesn't look like too much damage has come out of that. So.
Well, we're nearing the end of the stint on these black tires. and some of these drivers starting to struggle a little bit. Not nearly as bad as, the Reds would be at this point, but those black tires do fall off pretty hard towards the end of one of these fuel stints, which we are probably going to see these drivers come in at the end of lap number 12. That's about how long you can go a single fuel stint on. So expect a lot of pit stops here. It's Colin Kinzer. My goodness, he has made up so much ground, now challenging for second.
It's going to outdo my prediction of being P3 by the end of the stint at this rate. As DeAndre Young and Shady Hamed have made stops, I actually do wonder if like the midfield battles, while people go maybe dip in a bit early and try and get a bit of an undercut on, but so far no one's really gone in apart from DeAndre Young and Shady Hamed for a second, basically like second set of blacks probably at this point.
Well, now it's going to be who's going to pit in this front group now, with Peyton Schofield, Andrew Serwick, and Colin Kinzer. Do they come in on this lap, or do they try and push it here? I wonder if some of the guys have been saving some fuel to try and maybe push that extra lap.
I think Spa's a bit too long to try and pull an extra lap here, because if you're even on the fence at all, you are not going to make it back around. Just go pit, take the tires, change. Yep, both of them coming in.
Everybody coming in now. So. Well, Brody Gardner, he's going to be happy about this now because he started on the alternates and now he is just approaching the bus stop. So he's going to be back into the race lead.
It'd just be interesting to see how far ahead he is. If at all.
Well, I was going to say, is he going to get out ahead of everybody? So far he is. Oh, race
to the line. It's going to be Peyton Schofield still.
Yeah, Peyton Schofield still in front. Colin Kinzer delayed a little bit. Looks like he might have overshot his pit stall. What happened there to Peyton Schofield? That's a big blink. Did he get an unsafe pit? I think he got an unsafe pit exit.
Yeah, because he went over the line as well before the cone. So he is definitely going to pick up. That's a drive-through penalty, isn't it?
I believe.
Yeah, it's quite a significant penalty anyway. It's going to take him totally out of the equation for the win, unfortunately.
He looked quick too. He was getting quite quick. He wasn't having to battle there yet, and he is having some struggles there with his connection or computer or something's not right with that. So, but Colin Kinzer now, he's on the red tires. Actually, let's take a look at the tires right now. So keep track here. Andrew Serwick on the alternates, Colin on the alts, and Peyton Schofield, Mark Harrison, and that's it. That's all who's on the alternates.
Expect all three of those guys to be in on lap 18 or 19 to pick up their next set, because at that point they'll be good to go to the end on fuel, so they'll pick up their alternates, their primaries, and then go to the end from there. Garner, probably around the same lap, if I had to guess, he'd be coming in.
He's on 4 laps right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the second stop should all be about concurrent with current strategies. Which probably play into Brody's hands, because apart from the initial 4 or 5 laps, he should have the pace advantage on the Andrew and Colin as they try and nurse the Reds through this stint.
Yeah, this is where Serwick, Kinzer, and Schofield have to pay the piper, per se.
Yeah, so it's usually the way with these road course races. You do have to take the Reds, and usually it's not what you really want. And they do not last long at a lot of tracks that we cover, unfortunately. So it's just always about just trying to minimize your time on them.
But also maximize the time you get out of them. If you are fast through the corners, especially the high-speed corners like Lacombe coming up here, you will get a lot of really good use out of the Reds, and you can maximize how much advantage you can gain. Colin Kinzer is really good at that.
Colin Kinzer right now still hasn't used a single push to pass. Brody Gardner has used it 4 times. He's down to 6 times left on that, and that's something that's gonna come into play at some point, especially if Colin Kinzer can close that gap and get closer to Brody Gardner, especially on this alternate tire stint. This is kind of, I'm guessing we might see him use it a couple of times here, especially to get by Andrew.
Yeah, I'd imagine Andrew's probably the first person he would maybe consider using.
Oh.
Yeah, very wide
Real
there by
wide there.
Andrew. Very easy to loop it there as well if you catch that gravel.
Yeah.
So you need to be Andrew needs to be very careful here. He's still in a good position. Even if he finishes P3, he's in a good position because as much as this is his best track, he's still like as we all see.
Collins on push to pass right now.
Nope.
No.
No, he's not. He has such a slipstream, especially down that back straight, and now they're coming into the bus stop. He is really close here. Wouldn't be surprised now if we see him use it as they come down into turn number 1. Andrew Surwick holding on to that inside line. Where's Colin Kinzer going to go? Is he going to try and make the move around the outside? They're side by side. Into La Source they go. Andrew Surwick with the better exit there. Here they come out of turn number 1 now and down into Eau Rouge. Colin Kinzer right there on him. There goes Andrew Surwick with the push the pass. He turns that on. Colin Kinzer waiting, holding on to it. Here they come through Radion, and Colin Kinzer still not turning on that push the pass. Andrew Surwick using it all the way before Eau Rouge just to stay ahead of Colin Kinzer.
Colin Kinzer doesn't even need to use it. He had that slipstream and was able to basically use Andrew's push to pass against him as Andrew spins off, breaks a little bit too late into Lacombe's, and Colin Kinzer is going to get that spot for free.
Oh my lord, what a absolutely patient move there by Colin. He just waited that out, was a big threat with that slipstream, and just absolutely, and I think honestly Andrew Surwick, he's going to be kicking himself on that one. He was looking very good tonight, especially in this championship. So Brody Gardner now has a 4.5 second lead over over Colin Kinzer. So this is where it's gonna count now, is how quickly can Colin Kinzer close this gap.
Well, you just said the optimal words there. For now. As we already see, Colin has made up 2/10 over Brody Gardner. He's using those alternates to their absolute fullest. And he still has all 10 push to passes left. Of the people who are still out on track, he has the most, and it is the maximum. And it's 4 more than Gardner. So I'd expect to see Colin start using those up either during this next lap on his alternates to try and get as much use out of them as possible, or after he makes his pit stop, he'll just burn them out on 10 consecutive laps.
So Colin Kinzer on lap 14 was 2.1 seconds quicker than Brody Gardner, and now Colin Kinzer was 0.2 quicker on that lap. So this is definitely going to come down to the wire with Brody Gardner on the primary tires. He will have to pit at some point. Everybody having them be pretty much on a 2-stop race here. So
like
Colin
I said,
Kinzer.
Expect 18 or 19. Lap 18 or 19 to be when they come in.
It's just going to be a case of who pulls the trigger first, because Colin will probably need to get off those reds faster, because I think we're getting to the point now where the crossover is happening, and Brody will probably be matching or slightly ahead of Colin. But a hell of a drive so far by Colin, and still definitely in with a chance for a win here. The final stint's going to be absolutely insane for Colin. If he uses all 10 push to passes, then it's such a massive advantage.
I believe Colin actually has the fastest lap of the race at the moment too, so he'd get those bonus points as well. And Colin's not out of the championship hunt at all, should be mentioned. He's currently sitting in P9 in the championship, and he still has both of his drops that he can use. He's had a couple bad spots throughout this whole season, but getting a win or even a podium here would be massive for the start of the rest of his season.
So
Yeah,
you're correct there, Keegan. Colin Kinzer of 156.2 as the fastest lap. So he's finding something right now in that car. He's he's over a second quicker than Brody Gardner.
He's made up a second in the last lap, so I would think that's about what the difference is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness. That was about half a second that lap, I believe.
Yeah, it's still chipping away. The main thing is just chipping away at the lead, and then once we get to the final stint, they'll probably be on the same tyres. Though maybe Brody will try and take the reds and try and scamper away in the early part of the stint, but
That would be real rough trying to maintain that throughout 12 laps, though.
oh, definitely. I don't think that would be the best strategy, but you know, you might have to try something because will be able to hold Colin off. That's the question. Because Colin, he's definitely been on a man on a mission. Like I say, he does need to kickstart his road start of the season. He should have had maybe 3 wins at this point, or 2 wins on the road, and he's got none due to misfortunes. So just needs to keep it pointed right today and get at least get a podium, try and get the win. Andrew, when he spun, only lost 1 position as well. That's another thing. He's kind of lucky he had such a gap on P5, Cody Barrett. So while he's probably disappointed that he spun, it hasn't actually affected him too greatly compared to how it could have ended.
Yeah. But here we go. This is a battle for P6. Jack Hedgecock and Craig Bray getting very close to one another at this point. I believe both these guys still have yet to run on the Reds. So we're probably going to see them stick out there for probably another 6 or 7 laps after we see all these guys come in so they can take the Reds for as little time as possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of these guys that haven't taken the alternates yet end up moving up into the top 5.
Well, Cody Barrett right now only has a 2-second gap between him and Jack Hedgecock, and almost a 20-second gap between himself and Andrew Sorowick in P4. So that's the top 5 right there, and he's on primaries as well.
Yeah, this midfield battle is definitely going to be decided by the final tyre choices or what they need to take. So top 4 definitely probably will be if they stay pointing in the right direction, they're going to finish in the top 4 regardless. But 5th through 10th, 11th could easily change very quickly with whoever can handle the Reds or whatever you need to use at the end for the best.
Well, the gap between Brody Gardner and Colin Kinzer has not decreased at all over the course of this lap. It's still 3.7 seconds.
We're probably starting to see the effect of the alternate tires on Colin Kinzer as his times have drastically decreased over the last 2 or 3 laps.
And 5 laps already on those alternate tires as Brody Gardner's on 9 laps. So we're almost to lap 19 here. So I wouldn't be surprised if next lap we see both Gardner and Kinzer pit.
Yeah, we're definitely in that window for Colin. You might want to get rid of him now. He used a lot of the tyre in the early part of the stint there, and like I said, they do not last long. So he could pit now and go to the end on blacks, and it might be his best option if he's reached the point where he's not gaining.
He's also on push to pass here. Important to note. Maybe starting to dump some of those out.
Well, you got to use them or you lose them. So
no, he's going to go for another lap.
he might just use push to pass twice on
Hammers
this
it
lap
again. Yeah. I wouldn't use it down the front straight. I would use it down the camel straight personally.
Yeah. And if you just look at the gap now, it's 4 seconds, so it's starting to increase. So he's used it 3 times.
No, Peyton and Andrew have both hit the pit lane, so they're on their final stops. I assume they'll probably take black tyres at this point.
Well, that push to pass really doing work here for Colin Kinzer as he decreases the gap by almost 2/10. So he's pushing here as hard as he can to try and get out and get close, especially with pit stop coming up.
He might be trying to get close enough that he could sniff the slipstream of Brody Gardner once they both pit.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Colin Kinzer use it down the back straight way early, actually.
$10 says Brody Gardner goes for the overcut here. Because
Well,
he has another 2 or 3 laps in his tank.
Yeah, he definitely does. Plus, if you look at his pit strategy right now, he's only done 10 laps, so he can actually go an extra lap here. He has actually 2 extra laps based on the math. So
Kinzer needs to pit this lap.
yep,
Absolutely, no question.
this lap. Yep, he has
I
to
think
now.
Colin might have missed his window though, because I think Brody will pit this lap, and then he's pushing Colin to try and respond. So I think Colin should have gone in last lap, and he would have had the lap to get
No,
his
Brody's
tyres warm.
staying out. He's going to go for the overcut.
There goes Colin.
There it is. Colin's in. I do, however, feel as though you might be correct. He might have missed his window because he lost 2 or 3 tenths on that lap alone.
I actually think Brody might have lost his window now, because he probably should have. You know, he needed to basically make the move and push Colin, basically cover off Colin, and now he's giving Colin a lap to get his tyres up to speed, and
So something has broken on my end because everything was running fine. Yeah, I have lost all control. I am apologizing now because I do not know what is happening here. So what has happened is that our timing system, which also allows us to control iRacing, has seemingly crashed, which has also taken me all offline, apparently, because I can't even hear Keegan or James. So, but we're watching Brody Garner. He comes back out into the race lead, I think. So Brody Garner still out there in the race lead. So yeah, something has broke. So while I'm trying to fix this issue, Brody Garner's still leading this race. I have no idea what has just happened. I can't get anything to work right now, so I might have to shut down this PC. Only a couple more laps to go, but I'm waiting to hear back to know exactly what our plan is. This has been a fantastic race. What an unfortunate series of events that just has happened. Yeah, it's nothing with iRacing, I don't think, because it's running fine. Like right now, it's just right now I have the SDK timing stuff, and that has seemingly locked up. I can't even click on anything right now, so. So I do apologize. I think that is actually going to end the stream with technical difficulties. Unfortunate, because this race was heating up, but everything is just now locked up and nothing is working. So that will do it for us tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll see you on Sunday for Codemasters F1, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And then on Wednesday night, ACF1 returns. And then next Thursday,